But how about them bad news birds? Again, dude, down 23 in the third to the Lakers. And what I love too, Jake, and I think this is indicative of why this team is actually good and maybe not just like faking this and could be actually good, is how they came back. If you look, like the people who led the comeback. Like when things looked worse, it was Jonas Valanciunas a lot of times making the plays down low, fighting, kind of keeping them in it at least, right? Keeping them in punching distance. Then out of nowhere, Trey Murphy in the third starts to completely explode. How many did he finish with last night? Like 23 or 24?
21.
21 last night for Trey Murphy. They score 43 points in the third. They hold the Lakers to just 14 in the fourth quarter. So again, another Pelicans game in which instead of nightmares coming true in that final frame, your dreams come true in that final frame. But again, the fact that I think that, like, to me, it was Valanciunas and Murphy that kind of spurred it and started it. That speaks to some of the newfound depth of this team over this year that they've managed to develop and find. And then when the game did matter the most, and it's at the end of the game, and you need the big-time shots, it was C.J. McCollum, and it was Brandon Ingram, and it was your true superstars making the big shots to close it out. Like, that's the makeup, that rhythm of kind of the meat, potato, bones of your team, bringing you back into it, and then your superstar finishes the brain and the heart of the team, putting it across the finish line. That is a sign of a good playoff team, like of a team that, or at least, or a legitimate playoff team. And if you look at the Pelicans and their record, and we all know about 26 since 1-13, and you can probably play those games with any team, whatever, though, they are a legitimate playoff team.
And I think that's the goal. The goal was to get to the postseason. Like, you're not going to jump up from where they were a year ago to the 3 seed. Just not going to happen. We talked about getting into the play-in game. You'd like to see them in the top 8, but just get into the play-in game, playing good basketball, and that's what it looks like it's going to be. Like, it would take them to collapse, I think, to not make that, okay? So when you look at what they've done here at the back end and all the drama surrounding Zion, him being on the court, off the court, where is he at, where has he been, and for them not to allow that to be a distraction. And then you've got a star that you acquired at the trade deadline, and C.J. McCollum, that wants to be here. Like, that's the key part of this. Like, he wants to be here. It looks like he's having fun with his new teammates, and they've really found that chemistry. And last night it did come from Trey Murphy, who you don't expect it to come from. But there's been nights, like some nights it's been Graham. Some nights it's been other players. It's been Alvarado.
On Thursday,
right? It's been other players. And so that's the most intriguing part to me, because like you mentioned, it's not just B.I., it's not just C.J. McCollum, it's not, the stars every single time. Now they have to play their part, and they've played their part down the stretch, but it's a different guy off the bench or a guy in the starting lineup that you don't typically count on that has come through for the Pelicans, and that's been the biggest change from the beginning of the season to what they are now.
Yeah, and Herb Jones just remains elite defensively. I mean, he's easily the best second-round pick.
Look how much Alabama missed him this year.
Yeah, very fair. And again, in case you missed it in hour one, 2 great Alvarado stats as he signs a 4-year, $6.5 million deal with the Pelicans, so he's now official in the NBA. But he leads the NBA in steals per 36, and he actually has the best plus-minus of any first-year player. Again, David Griffin, if you can figure out the Zion situation, you are on a heater of epic proportions right now. Between this last draft class, the continued development of Jackson Hayes, the C.J. McCollum trade, Valanciunas trade, the David Griffin comeback season continues. What a win, though. Again, 41-3, just 14-4. That stadium felt like it hasn't really since that 2018 playoff run that they had, and the bad news birds get it done against. And to be clear, this was a Lakers team. LeBron scored 39.
Yeah.
You want to talk about outliers? LeBron went 7 of 13 from 3. He was pulling up from 30-plus and knocking him down. The Lakers shot 40% from 3 as a team, 40%. And yet you still find a way to come back from being 23 down and win that game. That is something I would have never expected to utter or say earlier this season.
And now with all the Zion stuff that's surrounding the Pelicans, they've done such a nice job of not allowing that to become a distraction. It's only going to heat up. Like, that talk in Zion's only going to heat up because as he gets,
stage is going to get bigger.
It is, but as he gets healthier as well. So you're, a week away, 2 weeks away from the video that we all saw with him going off the backboard between his legs, all of that. Okay, well, that's going to heat up. Okay, hey, we saw that 2 weeks ago. What's his health now? Hey, we saw him on the bench celebrating with his teammates. What's his health now? If they can handle that, that's going to be a key part of not allowing that. And this isn't Zion slander, but not allowing that to become part of the narrative, of the story, of the questions that they get asked every single day.
Yeah, and I think that, well, and it'll be interesting. I'm going to be intrigued to see, because now that you got Zion back on the sideline, he's looking involved, he's looking happy. I'm going to be interested to see, as the Pelicans take more of a national stage, how do the national media continue to talk about it, treat them? Do they finally stop talking about it and start talking about guys like what Ingram's done this year, and obviously McCollum, but also like Valanciunas, who's been absolutely fantastic, or some of these rookies? We'll learn. We're going to learn over the next couple of weeks.